How do you talk to people on the internet live with a camera? It's been ages. I've missed you all. Right, we'll give it a minute and let some people come online. Let's open my computer and see what subjects we've got to cover today, because boy, have we got some subjects to cover today. I wish I had a centre console, but unfortunately I'm in the Volvo and it never came with one. I'll show you. I'm not sure I've really shown you this before. So if you check this out, if I just put my camera mount, oh no, it doesn't work. Just bought a brand new camera mount because I've lost all the others. Look, it doesn't actually have a centre console. I need to fit one. There you go. You didn't think you were seeing my crotch first thing in the morning. Well, it's midday, isn't it? Good afternoon, everyone. Nerd in Motion. Nerd in Motion, are you coming to the NEC? How's Mrs. G? Great question. Mrs. G's all right. She's good. We're all good. We've been away. We had a holiday. But both me and my little lad are, we're both ill at the minute, which is why there hasn't been any content. I don't know whether we ate something. I reckon it might have been the chicken wings. And yeah, my little lad first wanted to go down. He was throwing up on the plane the whole way home, which was just grim. A really late plane as well. We didn't get in until midnight. And then Mrs. G, in classic Mrs. G style, had booked the wrong day for the airport parking. So we got back at midnight thinking, right, we've got to drive home from Manchester. And then Mrs. G phoned the parking people and they said, oh, you were supposed to come back yesterday. And it's going to take 25 minutes to get your car out. So that was cool. We were sat around in the airport for 45 minutes or so, waiting for Mrs. G's car to turn up. So yeah, that was pretty fun. What else? Yeah, accidentally managed to, yeah, my son, my 8-year-old, got sick on the plane on the way out, even down to his shoes. And I arrived at our holiday destination and was emptying my bag, my hand luggage bag that I'd had on the plane, and realised I had a Stanley knife in my bag. How is it that they searched my child and yet I flew with a Stanley knife? Make it make sense. Nerd in Motion, it's the NEC Classic Car Show, the classic car one. Send me a text message because I might be able to get you in. So, that's me. Just getting into work mode again after having a great week. The skies apparently haven't even let up in the time that I've been gone, which is hilarious. And anyway, right, so let's have a look at the agenda for today. And of course, at the top of the agenda, this weekend, Nerd in Motion starts. Setup day is Thursday, tomorrow. I'll come on to that in a minute though, because I've got stuff to say about that at the end. Right, let's talk about the election. Just give us some comment, I mean, I personally didn't think that they were going to let him win the election. I was really, really hoping that Trump would win. And we'll get onto some of the conspiracy theories in a minute. But I was really hoping that he would win. And after, we are fully refreshed. Thank you, Kevin. On the drive up to Manchester Airport for our holiday, I listened to the Donald Trump podcast. And on the drive home, I listened to most of the Elon Musk podcast, the Joe Rogan podcasts. Those two podcasts must really have gone some significant distance to contributing to the war, Mr. DJT. Because, I mean, if future president is happy to sit down and have a candid chat with the world's biggest podcast for 3 hours, that is why, isn't it? And then obviously Kamala, if you haven't watched or listened to the podcast yet, in the interests of fairness, he was hoping that Kamala would also come on and do a podcast with him. And she said, I will do 45 minutes, not doing it at your studio. And Joe Rogan quite rightly said, it doesn't work that way. You can't do 45 minutes. You've got to do the same thing. So the fact that you could sit down and have a chat with, you know, with Donald Trump. I mean, the Donald Trump, like president or not, that would have been an amazing one to listen to. So we shall see. It's exciting. It's exciting. And let's just have a look at some of the conspiracy theories for a moment. So there are people saying that we've all been had. It was a big psyop. We obviously don't know which side Elon Musk's bread is really buttered. But I don't know about all of that. I mean, let's say it was a big psyop and we've all been had, and Donald Trump is actually very bad news and all that sort of stuff. Still got to be better than Kamala, hasn't it? Because, I mean, she got less vote than a senile kiddie sniffer. So that's hilarious. A couple of questions that have come in. Which car am I in today? This is the Volvo 850 diesel, the silver one. This is what I call at the moment my car. There are a couple of other cars knocking around, but this is the one that I would, if you said to me, Geoff, what car have you got? It's this one. This is my pump car, as opposed to cars that I buy to like try and then not keep for very long. So that's where I'm at. 350 million Americans, and those are the two best people they can come up with to run their country. I know, and that just says everything about the state of things. And of course, it's the same in the UK. You know, a nation of however many people, and the very best that Labour can come up with is Keir Starmer, who is a chap that has come, who has no relation at all to real life. And it was the same with the Tory. They put forward Rishi Sunak, who is, you know, essentially an Indian billionaire. That's it. What videos do you have planned this week, Geoff? Question. I've got loads, actually. When I go abroad, I tend to go through my phone and go through my notes app, and Peter, answer that in a minute. When I'm abroad, I tend to go through my notes app. My notes app is connected on my phone and my laptop. And whenever I see something that's worth making a story about, it goes into my notes app. But usually it's only when I'm on a plane and I've got airplane mode where I actually sit down and go, okay, I need to get all of these. So I get all my notes organized. So I've probably got 15 or 20 videos that I want to post. Annoyingly, I can't post them all at once. Tried that and it doesn't work. It just bombs your YouTube channel. So there's plenty of content. I think I'm going to kick off one that I feel is quite pressing, because there's a company in the UK called Big Motoring World. Has anyone heard of Big Motoring World? Well, they're basically a car dealer, large-scale car dealer, big car supermarket. And from what I can tell from the Facebook groups, they are absolute scumbags. So I think I need to do a video, should you buy a car from Big Motoring World? Because what I don't want is, I don't want to see, I'm in the Facebook group, I don't want to see more people going on there posting, saying their experiences. So we need to get that video up so people can realise. Are you hoping that with Trump, all the net zero BS will go away? I think the thing is, I've read a couple of interesting books whilst I was on holiday as well, and that will probably be the subject of another video. So a bit of a random today, because I've got a few things to cover, right? Let's just take a look at that question, the net zero one. The question is, which politicians have actually rode into power on the back of trying to improve our lives? And the answer is none of them. You know, most of the politicians in the UK think that we're bothered about net zero. Nobody's bothered about net zero when the problem is the cost of putting food on the table for your family, right? We really don't care. Now, the quest for net zero is basically the opposite of economic growth. So if you are going to come into power and I want to do the best thing that I could possibly do for this country, then it's very important that you choose policies and actions that are going to shore up what you've got in your country. So it stands to reason then that either which way, Trump or whoever, could massively rein back the net zero stuff, because all net zero seeks to do is benefit China, basically. Excited about Trump, real dud last time, gave us the emergency use medical intervention, just relieved Kamala didn't get in, but let's face it, to clean up the US, he'll need an army. Right, I appreciate that there's definitely some questions around about Trump's behaviour in the pandemic. However, he's said in his speech, his initial speech that I watched at about 7:30 this morning, that RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., is going to be tasked with making America healthy again. So if Trump is in cahoots with RFK, you need to appreciate that RFK wrote the book, The Real Fauci, and RFK did a lot of work on medical interventions. So if RFK is involved with American health policy and he's therefore working underneath Trump, that's a huge win, because RFK, when I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with him, I'm away thinking, why haven't they bumped him off yet? Like, the stuff that he is saying, why haven't they taken him down? So and that's very exciting. Yeah, so excited by that. That was the first thing. What does it mean for electric cars in the USA? That's my next note that I've got here on my computer. I think we have sort of covered that. Elon Musk is extremely close to Donald Trump and was a key player. So you've got RFK, who's going to be in charge of health, and then Elon Musk is obviously going to have a say in transport. Now, I think that what we will see is Tesla will go back to doing what Tesla did in the first place. Nice to see you back. Thank you, Natalie. Is it glitching or is it me? It's probably glitching. It's the internet. There's nothing I live in the middle of nowhere. The Starlink isn't good enough at my house to broadcast. And at my house at the minute, they're currently installing solar panels on the roof. So there's too much noise for me to film in the studio anyway. I think what will happen with Tesla is it will go back to started. And by that, what I mean is we will have an automotive market in the USA where anything coming in from China will suddenly become uneconomically viable because of the tariffs. This is what I hope will happen. I hope that the tariffs will kick out all of the electric cars coming in, and we'll basically go back to a point where the auto industry is allowed to carry on. And if you want a Tesla, you can buy a Tesla, because there was nothing wrong with the way the auto industry was functioning before. You go back to 2015, 16, 17, you were growing and things are going well. But at that point, the rest of the industry started crapping itself over the EV targets. We can live in a world where electric cars and petrol cars can coexist. I'm okay with that. If you want an electric car, go and get a Tesla, because it's clearly the best one. And if you want a electric car, go and get anything else that you want. That's where we need to be. We need all the other manufacturers to say, do you know what? We tried that EV thing. It didn't work. We'll leave that to Elon Musk and get back to doing what we do best, which is making economical, clean petrol and diesel cars. That's where we need to be. So hopefully that will be what will happen. At the end of the day, your Volvo 850 is better than a Tesla anyway. Well, I mean, it's 160,000 miles. It still does 50 miles to the gallon. I like it a lot, and it was cheap. But the other thing that I want to talk about is road tax. Yeah, Randy, if you're going to buy an EV, buy a Tesla. I don't know if you would buy anything else. They just work. They're just decent. And right now, because of the depreciation, they make a very sensible buy. I've got a good friend, James, who's recently gone from a BMW 5 Series to a Tesla, because financially it means for him to do that because of the depreciation. Had he been buying at full price, that might have been a different thing. But he bought a second-hand Tesla and he's saving a fortune on fuel. Not a problem with that. No problem at all. Because my mate James hasn't now gone in all his car groups involved with and told everybody that they have to get one and all that sort of stuff. That's the problem, isn't it? There's the mandates, the legislation and everything. If you want to buy an electric car, knock yourself out. Be my guest. Don't force me to have one, though. It's the same with anything, isn't it? All is fun here on session so far, Geoff. Thank you very much. I'm glad about that. I don't think the Orange Oracle will do that for Hugh because he's on OT2. I don't know. We will see. We will see where we end up. It's still a battery and not good for the environment. Absolutely, that's a valid point. It's a valid point. Neither of the solutions are perfect. You know, petrol and diesel cars require the drilling of oil, and oil in the UK needs shipping. So what we should do is we should open up the North Sea oil, right? We should have our own oil, and we should have our own gas, and we should be using our own coal from Wales. But we should optimize all of that so it's cheap, efficient, and as clean as possible. That's got to be a better idea. Using what you've got at home has got to be a better idea than shipping things in from all over the place. And I was saying that I've been quite active on Twitter the last couple of days. Basically, been sat on the sofa feeling sorry for myself and trying not to go to the toilet with my little lad next to me who, I've been grabbing a bowl for him when he's needed to be sick. Twitter a lot. And people were talking about this the other day. So did you know that the heritage railways in the UK, all the steam trains, they're currently using coal that has to be imported from Australia? Pretty sure that's what I'd heard. But we have the best quality coal in Wales, but we're not allowed to use it. So there we go. And then a great comment there. Let's be honest, walking isn't good for the environment as we inhale the CO2. And there, let's just conclude all of this section. That's where you get to the end goal of the green movement. It is about removing you and me and nothing more. Another comment there, Geoff, why are you still listening to Rogan? He is control. What else am I going to listen to when I'm driving the car? I quite enjoy listening to Joe Rogan. I'm sure he's controlled, and I'm sure you get to a stage. There must get to a stage your bank balance hits a number, or your social influence hits a number, and there's a knock on the door, or an email, or a phone call, and someone sits you down to explain how the world. And I think that's probably why, as well, celebrities disappear and go off the radar. You know, sponsorship by Imodium and Direlight, actually, which is funny because I'm actually Holy Energy today, which is essentially the same thing, which is cool. Yeah, I'm still drinking the Holy Energy. A couple of people said to me, "Oh, I got sponsored by Holy Energy like everyone." I quite like the stuff. I really do. What's your opinion of the farmers being even over within the budget? Well, let's have a look at point number 3. No, let's do point number 1 was the election. We've done that. Point number 2 was what does it mean for electric cars in the USA? Point number 3 is still under all of that. Sadiq Khan said that Donald Trump gets in, he will leave the UK. So that's great news for everybody in the UK, because as we know from watching my videos, Sadiq Khan has done nothing, not one. Can anyone think what the Romans ever done for us? Can anyone think of a single thing that can anyone think of a single thing that Sadiq Khan has done that was positive for Londoners? Just one single thing. So hopefully, because he's if Donald Trump gets in, then he will. And ironically, Sadiq Khan has said that he's going to leave if Donald Trump gets in because of the hate that's going to be spread in London. Have you ever seen with Sadiq Khan and hates normal people more? So if Sadiq Khan left, there'd be less hate in London because Sadiq Khan hates everyone. So that'd be great. Right, the next point that we got there is about the farmers, all right? And this is a serious one. Obviously, we are going to need to make some specific videos on the farmers' protests and what's going on in farming. We've seen that Rachel Reeves has done her very best to destroy farming. Again, the theory, you know, they want to take control of the food supply. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. They get rid of all the farmers. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. So why is the government incentivizing farmers to retire? And why now is the government changing the inheritance tax rules so that families lose their farms when they get passed between generations? Because otherwise they're going to be saddled with debt. So this is going to be find the money or indeed sell the land. So they're 100% coming for farming. There's a farmer already that has killed himself because of what he sees coming down the line. I mean, losing one farmer is too many. You know, and a suicide, like, again, one is. So this needs to be brought into the public affair. People need to realize what's going on. And there is already a petition that I've seen to get this reviewed. I think we can make some real progress on this by making a lot of noise. Same with everything. I think the fuel duty freeze is largely because the motorists have been getting real twitchy lately. So yes, you are right. It's a sneaky land grab. Daniel says, Geoff, my 17-year-old Tigra passes an MOT. Only advisory is under seal. Truck bed spray. The Tigra is saved. Nice one. Another old car staying on the road. 7:30 a.m. in Toronto. And there are funny white lines in the sky. They are lovely with the sunrise for a backdrop. Well, I've only just got back to the UK a couple of days ago, and apparently it's been this thick grey. What are they calling it? An anticyclonic gloom is what they're saying. And even Mrs. Geoff now, this is funny, like my wife, right, love her, she'll stay out of all this sort of stuff, you know. She's interested in food, she's interested in health, and she's interested in nutrition, but she tends to leave everything up to me on the other stuff, you know, the government and the weather and the LGBTQ and all that. She's not really interested. But Mrs. Geoff is now getting more and more politicized by what is going on. So this morning I was sat down and I've been designing a new sticker pack. I've got a new Geoff Buys Cars sticker pack coming out. And I'm not going to ruin it as to what's in the sticker pack, because there's some new designs which you're going to love. And Mrs. Geoff said to me as I was working on one design, she said, can you do me a sticker? What was I explaining it? Oh, that was it, yeah. So I was watching something, the kids doing something this morning, right? And it's about, is it dwarves or elves? Trolls, that's it. My kids are watching Troll Hunter on Netflix, right? And I was doing my own thing, making breakfast, making a cup of tea and whatnot. And there's a scene where two girls kissed. And I was like, what is going on? What's going on here? Why is this being pushed on children? And my wife, again, like, her ears pricked up. And she's like, what? Why are we dealing with this? Why are we dealing with this constant attack on traditional values? And Mrs. Geoff said to me today, Is there a country you can go to where they celebrate the traditional family? Why don't we have a traditional family day? There is no nuclear family day, is there? There's not a day where you can celebrate the nuclear family. So, Mrs. Yeah, you let your kids watch Netflix. Yeah, I know, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to just say no. Snickers pack or stickers pack? No Snickers, no knickers, just stickers. And Mrs. Geoff said to me, I'll show you this design. She said, can you do me a nuclear family sticker that I go back of my car? And I thought, you know what, that's actually a really good idea, because you never get that anywhere, do you? Everybody's allowed to display their LGBTQ, and I believe in, no dogs before Christmas, and I support this, and horses for that, but no one ever has a sticker on their car that says, do you know what, I'm quite into just the nuclear family, and like people having good values, and people each other, and trying to bring your kids up in the best way possible. So that's what my missus said to me. She said, can you do a nuclear family sticker for my car? So I've done it, look. Here you go. That's it. That's going to be in the sticker pack. Just really simple, in the style of the periodic table. So you'll be able to, and I know, people get divorced and people have stepchildren. I've got a stepchild that I get to stand on all the time. So, it's 1 minute. Like, NF stands for nuclear family. That's what I'm saying. Not National Front. There's no such thing as the National Front. The National Front is made up by the media to make you scared of white people. There's no such thing as the National Front, is there? Like, what have the National Front ever done recently? They haven't done anything. The media just wants you to think that the National Front are actually a thing. So yeah, I'm going to roll with that sticker. And anyway, I've already sent it off to Untrue. Come on then, tell me what the National Front have actually done. Well, did I see the incestual Brookside? I don't know what that comments mean, but I'm guessing it means you've been watching Brookside and there's an incest story in it at the moment. That's what this agenda wants. These weird people want to push an agenda of destroying the family, destroying traditional values. Anything goes. Everybody love everybody all of the time. And it's all a bit Brave New World. Have you read the book Brave New World? Rogers, I like that sticker, actually. That's a good one. Have you read the book Brave New World by Aldous Huxley? Aldous Huxley had inside information on what's really going on with the future. Aldous Huxley knows that the future is going to be a highly sexualized, highly medicalized, highly controlled social order with no moral. So that's what it's going to be. So yeah, you can thank Mrs. Geoff for that sticker, because I think that's a really good point. Yeah, so the stuff is interesting. Right, before I come on to that recommendation for the first time car, let me do I've still got some more bullet points I want to get through. We've done UK farmers. Let's talk briefly about road tax. If you haven't watched, Aldous Huxley, I read it when I was at college. Huxley, Brave New World. Okay, let's do this bit next. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. I want to talk about dystopia and I want to talk about utopia. And I will put this in a standalone video because that's quite important. There's 2 books that I read whilst I was on holiday. That makes me sound really good. Like I managed to read 2 books while I was away. One, I'd already kind of started the first book and I didn't quite finish the second one. So, don't think that I was some studious bookworm while still looking at the odd YouTube comment, but I wasn't making new content. But I read 2 books, okay? One of them was called Freakonomics. Can't remember the author. I haven't got it with me. Freakonomics is an excellent book, and I can highly recommend that you go and order it, because it's an economics book in a way that you would never really understand an economics book. And there's some very, very interesting stuff in that. The second book that I read was called Utopia for Realists and How We Can Achieve It. Now, these things were very connected. I didn't realize that. Both of these books were connected. There's a very interesting in Freakonomics about homelessness, right? And basically what it says is the problem with homelessness and poverty is you've always got the assumption and the stereotype that if you give poor people money, they will spend it on drugs and booze. But Thank you. Someone has read Freakonomics. Yeah, and they reference drug dealers not making money. It's a fascinating chapter, isn't it? It's such a good book, and it was so easy to read, and I didn't really want to put it down. But also, so I like Mrs. Geoff likes it when I read to her, so she'll be lying on a sunbed, and I'll read out loud whatever book we're on. And the second book I was reading, Utopia, even my 8-year-old was like, "Daddy, can you read that book to me?" I was like, "Oh, that's great. That's really cool." So we had some bonding time, and I felt like I was educating them. So yeah, Freakonomics, basically, there are multiple studies where if you give poor people money, actually, it saves the economy money in the long run. So there's loads of really cool stuff like that. Good day, Mike. So yeah, lot really interesting. Yeah, go and order both of those books, Freakonomics and Utopia. Utopia for Realists, it's called. Now, the Utopia one, and I'll come back to this in a sec. Oh, JM's done a video on Volvos. No, I haven't watched it yet. Utopia for Realists. Now, that's very interesting because when you start reading that book, it talks about different historical views of what utopia would look like. Utopia obviously being the future, the ultimate, where everything is fantastic. And no, you've not missed road tax. I'm doing that next. I'm jumping around a little bit. Utopia is a traditional concept of the world being fantastic, right? But we've lost our view on utopia. We don't seem to have an interpretation of a utopia. In the old days, where everything was grim and people died young and there wasn't enough food to go around, all the concepts of utopia were about food from the sky and their, lands flowing with milk and honey and all that sort of stuff. James Smith, can you email me that book? jeffbuyscars@gmail.com, so I don't forget. Yeah, so basically utopia used to be a concept that we used to strive towards. But what this book is saying is that politicians have long since stopped striving for utopia. Well, surely we should be striving for utopia, because utopia, the idea of utopia is that we're improving things for everybody. So we're improving things. We've got 666 people watching as I'm talking about utopia. Isn't that funny? The utopia is that we're improving things for people, but we're not gunning towards utopia. There are no politicians who are gunning towards utopia. None of the policies that we're actually making. Yeah, I know utopia doesn't exist, but the idea that we can make life better for people, we could if we wanted to. The answer is, if they're not striving towards utopia, then they quite simply must be striving towards dystopia. So your Orwells and your Aldous Huxleys are absolutely correct, because where we're ending up is a very grey place where things are bleak for everybody except the elite. It's extremely worrying. Did you watch the series Utopia from the early 2000s? No, I didn't. Soylent Green, yeah. I've not watched Soylent Green, but I'm well aware of it. I know I need to watch that. British is not a nationality, it's a political union. Yeah, I know, and legal name fraud and all that sort of stuff. Elon Musk is heading for utopia. That's utopia on Mars. I think it's interesting with the Elon Musk thing, because yes, he did the Joe Rogan. What was his Joe Rogan thing? Didn't he wear a t-shirt that said Occupy Mars? And then again, we get into this world where, is there something going on with the sun? Are we expecting some sort of weather class cataclysm? Certainly feels like it. Do hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much. It does certainly feel like that's where we're at. The weather in the UK has been very strange. We've obviously got a state. Who's that? Matthew. Grey state. Matthew, you've ruined my live feed because I've lost my flow now. Right, let's just talk about that. Have you ever come up called a grey state? I remember it being advertised a while ago. And then before the movie came out, the director... what did he do? Didn't he kill his wife and children in a murder-suicide? It was very, very odd. Very odd indeed. The story's absolutely fascinating. If you don't know about it, go and look it up. I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. No, not 50 Shades of Grey. Totally the wrong thing. And absolutely not what's going on in my house at the moment. Because I keep having to stop to run to the toilet or deal with a child that's being sick. So no 50 Shades of Grey going on. Eric nails it. Welcome back, mate. How's the holes? We are watching a movie full of bad actors. Yeah, I know we are. You've just got to choose the least. David Crowley, that's the one. The sun is behaving crazy. RE flares and sunspots. It is, yeah. I don't know Songbird, Matt. Maybe email me, because I'm not sure on that one. But yeah, but then Grey State was what? More than a decade ago? It was a while ago. Geoff, are you going to the NEC at the weekend? Yeah, you got to wait for point 6, though, and it's taken me 30 minutes to get through the first 3. 245 likes, so go on, do hit like. Right, so that was okay. I got derailed there by talking about grey state, but that kind of brings me out in chills because I remember reading about that. Yes, there will be some car talk with the NEC bit in a minute. Right, oh, hang on, this is car talk. Let's do road tax, okay? Road tax is getting out of hand. We know that. They've just doubled the road tax for all car. Independent video coming on this as well. They've just doubled the road tax, and here we go. Keith, £570 on my XC90. That's double what my V70 is. Same engine. It's absolute balls, isn't it? We need to form some sort of something to get road tax reform. You don't need road tax. Thank you, Margaret. I know you are correct, but I don't yet know how to deregister my car from the DVLA. If somebody knows, can they please email me? So at the moment, Richard from Challenge the Road is... Oh, he's coming over again. Hang on a minute. Stay there, everybody. Stay there. Hiya.
Right.
All right.
Are you waiting for someone?
Yeah.
Who?
I'm just hanging out here for a minute.
Can you park on the car park?
Yeah.
Please?
Yeah.
I've told you before.
Yeah.
If you're nothing to do with any of the business, there's no reason to be round here.
I'm not really causing any trouble though, am I?
There's a car park over there. It's like I get phone calls.
Who's phoning you and saying what?
Well, it's a bit odd, isn't it? I mean, you've never asked. You parked cars here the other night. You never asked permission. It's like, have some boundaries.
All right, I'll be over there. No problem.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, such a joke. It is such a melt around here. It is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Right, let's move there. Funny thing is, right, I park here so you can't see the name of any of the businesses, and by moving my car now you can see, like, what is the issue? The guy, I just hate people. I really hate humans. Yeah. Right, I've lost my flow now. I'll go over here. Right, and we'll park up 10 feet from where we were before. Oh yeah, apparently, yeah, that's it. Yeah, apparently he's had phone calls. Oh yeah, someone's gonna make a phone call. Well, what are you gonna say? You're gonna make a phone call saying, oh, there's a guy in a Volvo. There's a guy in a Volvo. What's he doing? Nothing, he's just sat in his car. Right. Honestly, that, like, it's just, isn't it? It's just ridiculous. I'm not causing anyone any trouble at all. Anyway, road tax, right. V888 form for unregistering your car from the DVLA. But I'm just not sure what happens next. So yeah, so no, we're all good here. We're all good. It's just frustrating, isn't it? When people, yeah. Well, like, what is the need? What is the need? I'm literally 20 feet from where the car was before, except the only difference is it's like a railway sleeper. There's a railway sleeper behind me. Cool. Anyway, let's do auction prices. Got another video coming up on auction prices. We seem to have had some decent auction prices coming up. There's been a couple of good auctions where stuff has sold for some money, so nice. Yeah, that's quite exciting, isn't it? So auction prices have been pretty good, but there has been some absolute bargains as well. And what's really funny is we've had some really good, strong figures for Volvos. Some Volvos did really well in the Matthewson's auction. I think I've talked about that before. So that's cool. So that's auction prices. The other one I've got my notes of says, shock, Met Office is inventing temperature data from 100 non-existent stations. So we know that basically the Met Office are making up the weather. It turned out that they'd been reporting weather data from a weather station that hadn't been there since like 1986 or something. So there we go. And again, Mrs. Geoff checked on her weather app earlier on, and I can maybe the Worcestershire Alps. Oh, I'd love it. I'd love some keys to a field with an amazing view of the Worcestershire Alps. Yeah, send me an email. Mrs. Geoff checked her weather app earlier on, and basically it's grey every day until a week Friday where we may get a little bit of sun. It's just not worth being here at the moment, is it? Especially when it goes dark at 4:30. My Audi R8 road tax is going down from 590 to 180 as it's rated after 2017. Thank you, electric cars. Going down from 590 to 180. My road tax is the same as Nigel, who drives a Nissan Leaf. Brilliant. Yeah, that's what I said before Bellend over there came over. Richard from Challenger Road is paying less to tax a McLaren P1 than I am on this Volvo. Volvo does 50 miles to the gallon. So should have stayed on holiday, Geoff, so escape the weather. Yeah, I know. Can't, unfortunately, stay on holiday forever. And yeah, solar energy. Solar is currently doing, what, 10% of asking for ID, and he is the manager of the car park. It's just a bit of private scrubland. Like there's like 3 businesses here. I really don't know what the problem is. If you replace your morning coffee with green tea, 87% of what little joy you have left in your life. I like that quote because I green tea tastes like ass. 17th in YouTube car views this year. Geoff Flying, 17th, really? Can you email me that? Because I haven't seen that. Cars@gmail.com. How did that work? Just had an advert in the middle of your live, Geoff. Don't know. Ask YouTube. They are still messing around with creators and earnings and all sorts. So I don't know. It's a mystery to me. People say to me, how does it work with getting paid from YouTube? And I'm like, I don't really know. I'd make videos that I think are interesting and that I hope people will enjoy. And I try not to worry about any of the numbers, to be honest. 33rd worldwide. Oh, shocking, isn't it? Yeah, 33rd worldwide. What is the point? That's quite funny because, like I say, I never wake up in the morning and go, oh, what video can I make that's going to do 100,000 views? I really don't. I just do interesting stuff. If you send your V5C document to the DVLA vehicle, why don't you attach a notice declaring your will on the underlying trust? Declare yourself a beneficiary. I want to do this. I don't fully understand the process. How much will a 1987 1.6 be to tax, Geoff? Probably £300, something like that. Not blaming you, Geoff, just an observation of YouTube. Yeah, I know. And I don't know, it's getting worse. November was better, but November's always a good month because in November you've got Christmas coming up. So October and November are generally all right because it's the run up to Christmas. I guess advertisers are spending money, but it's taken ages today for things to. It's taken ages this year to pick up. Which I think is pretty funny. I was just thinking, like, I'm so annoyed by the fact that he's just come and kicked me out of there again. Like, I'm not trying to cause any harm to anyone. As I said to him before, part of the reason why I parked there is A, there's good signal, and B, it's totally anonymous. Like, nobody can get the location from where we are. Unbelievable. I'm not there making any noise. I'm not doing anything. Hilarious. Move the Volvo back over the road and see if the twat returns. I genuinely don't get what the issue is. Maybe it's one of these places where they don't trust outsiders, but like, you know, who I am because we've spoken before. So what's the problem? I see the sun is still white. I don't because I can't see it. Coal and gas now, uranium reactors in 30 time because that's how long it takes to build in the UK, and thorium reactors after. Well, you know more about that than I do. And someone there says they've done well patrol since the 1800s. Yes, that is correct. Have you had any interesting emails from viewers at all that you can share? I've had loads, but they'll go into a video. I'm still going through them. I'll email you the stats. Also have a free website that shares links to your social you can use, or add it to your. We'll explain in email. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. But you did as you were told, like a good little boy. Well, I don't really want to stand there and argue with him whilst I am broadcasting to, you know, almost 700 people live on YouTube. It's not worth it. So, but then again, what's he going to do? Phone the police? Is that him driving past now? What is he looking at? No, it's not. Somebody else. So she's having a good stare, though. Yeah, she's having a real good stare. What is people's problem? I swear, honestly, I think medical intervention has changed people. I was having this conversation the other day. Do you think that since having the zombies, do you think that since having medical intervention, people have changed? I do. I think people have been mentally changed. Right, what else? Auction prices. I've sort of done that one. There'll be an independent video going on that anyway. When I'm feeling well enough to sort of film in the studio. Yes, says leave my rights alone. Yeah, a lot of, you notice this? Who was saying this the other day? Someone was saying he was driving down towards London and he was looking around the car at all the people around him and he's just like, these are not nice people anymore. Like there's a change in the air. I know you swear, Geoff. I've heard you. I try not to too much. Yeah, I try not to swear too much. I think I used to swear more in my early videos, but YouTube doesn't really like it when you swear. Buy a cheap car, get it dropped off like you did with the Map. Well, they're all farmers around here, though, so they just tow it off. So it doesn't really make any difference, does it? So, yeah, some of the comments are golden. Thanks for the laugh, folks. Afternoon, Geoff. How are you? Oh, she's going fast. Good, all good. No complaints, apart from being a bit ill. I said I'd do about an hour or so live, so we've got a few subjects to go. Right, so let's talk about the NEC then. Let's do some car stuff. What's my fleet look like at the moment? I've got this Volvo 850 diesel. I've got a red Volvo 850 diesel. I didn't watch the Lotus Eaters stream. I wish I had. I've got a red Volvo 850 diesel that needs to go back on the road. Some of the work is being done for that. Richard says, nothing can stop what's coming. What's coming, Richard? Come on, tell us. Hate it when people leave me cryptic clues being like, well, if you've fallen for it again. It's like, come on, tell us what you know then. Move the car back over there. Tell him data protection. You need to keep all signage and number plates out of frame. There's no signs anyway, so whatever. Doesn't bother me. World is a horrible place, has been for 20 years. Interestingly, yeah. Again, you should read the two books that I mentioned earlier on. Says that basically the world used to be a horrible place and it's got a lot better. You know, like in the old days, you used to die, you'd be dead by the time you were 37. If you were in your 40s, you were like an elder in the village and it was amazing you survived. And then, you know, all the kids used to die when they were young. So, you know, we reached peak society probably in the late 1990s. That's the thing. Have you heard about the new blood group ER recently discovered? No, I haven't. Please do tell me. Richard says, we don't live on a spinning ball in a vacuum. I can appreciate that there is an argument for that, but no one yet has given me a logical explanation of either the spinning ball or any actual explanations as to what we're living on instead of a spinning ball. My best guess is that we're living in some form of Truman Show, which is the firmament above and below. And that's what the Bible says. There's a firmament above and a firmament below. And then I watched this weird thing the other day about a guy in a submarine who went down the ocean and found like an ocean beneath the ocean, which was weird. The Bible tells you, Geoff. I know. I've started reading it again. I started reading Revelation, and I might launch a Bible channel just for Geoff reads the Bible. I might do that because it's easy. I can just sit here and read and then upload it, can't I? He died after that, Geoff. Yeah, Matthew, I couldn't find much more information on it. Come on, people, do you actually put any stock in politics? No, but we haven't got enough people together to form some sort of anti-politics system. Andy V, Geoff the Bible basher, lol. Not weird. Shana within an ocean is not strange at all. Onion springs to mind. Father Geoff, I like that. #1 in Bible channel views. Here you come. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Things need to get much worse before they stop getting better. I appreciate that's probably right. Margaret says the Bible isn't the truth. I know. It can't be the truth because if there's a God, then he predates language, and that means that God came before language, which means that if God's going to communicate with us, he's not going to use language because language is a tool of man and God is above man. So the Bible cannot be the truth, but it could be a road sign that directs us to some high form of living, even if you don't take the words literally, because the words were diluted and translated by people with an agenda. Cool, nailed it. So yeah, I hope you got all that. Did you make some notes? I love that, because I do tend to like run it off thick and fast. I'm going to make a sweeping generalization here and say that every time someone measures the curvature of the Earth, it's not there. Bedford Canal experiment did it first. Yes, the Bedford Canal experiment is definitely an interesting one. I've had a little look at that in the past before, and I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot that you can't. Translated by people with an agenda. Good thought. Yeah, exactly. I mean, James that was in charge of leading the, translation of the Bible. And if they were translating the Bible and suddenly there was a section that said, always kill the king, probably going to change that. So there you go. I meant as a bluff to back him off the data protection. People are often confused by GDPR stuff as it's all nonsense. Yes, cold air above the water, bending the light. God said he was the Word. Words are his means of communication and creation. God gave man language, ergo. Don't know about that, because language can be manipulated. I read this book. I had no idea what it was about because I wasn't listening. I like that. That's like me. I got back off my holiday. I read 2 books. They were both really good. Can't remember what either of them was about, so I've got nothing to tell you. All contain liquids settle flat, including the only liquid that doesn't settle flat is the seas. Because there's no, like, yeah. It's just a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult subject to get into. It's one of those things that is like so caught up with you're taught it from a young age, and that's what it is, and you're not allowed to question it. But people should be able to question things. Industrial monk, the virgin birth is a mistranslation from the Hebrew. Go on then, industrial monk, tell us what the correct translation was as we peer towards Christmas. I love how most of the mainstream media today look hungover. Yeah, the mainstream media do not know how to deal with this happen. It's really funny. They genuinely don't have a clue like what to do with the fact that this has just happened. Pickup trucks are classed as cars for tax purposes as of April 25. Yes, it's just another attempt to attack the farmers, isn't it? Can we get back to VED? I haven't got really got much to say because I haven't yet researched the budget because I was on holiday, so you'll have to wait for a full video. The Bible was originally written in Greek. No, it wasn't. It was originally written in Aramaic, I think, Hebrew. The Greek came much after. Flat Earth content creators know the Earth is spherical. Really? Young woman, if Hebrew is correct, which again would make sense. Real truth cannot be found in books. It's in yourself and what you make it. I think, crazy for cars, that's probably the most appropriate comment right there. You find real truth within yourself, same as you find meaning and purpose within yourself and happen. Nick Watson says, Geoff, was it a good holiday? It was great. It was really good. Any idea on a first car, Geoff? With not over roof insurance, I would buy a Ford Fiesta because you can't really go too far wrong with a Ford Fiesta. God singular, Elohim means God's plural. And then someone says, do you like Range Rovers? No. The Book of Gilgamesh reads better, than the Bible? Well, the Bible's all over the place, isn't it? Because it was it's selected works. So we'll have to do I think I might need to launch a Bible channel. Geoff, have you seen next year's car tax prices? Whoa, yes, I have. And what's funny as well is like by hitting the 2017 onwards cars, they're hitting the people that don't know much about cars. Because if you know a lot about cars, you probably just buy an older one and you'd be okay with it. But if you're the sort of person that has to buy something on finance, that's who's going to get hit by it. So again, it's people that really don't need to be attacked because they're already struggling. Because you got this myth that people that buy new cars have got loads of money. Well, as I've said before in previous videos, often it's cheaper to buy a new car than it is to buy an old car. Because if you're going to buy an old car, you need to have 15 or 2 grand or 3 grand or whatever it is right there and then. You buy a new car, it's like £179 a month. It's way cheaper to buy a new car or a finance car. Water Lake at the Deep Sea Bottom by Mike DeGuy, BBC. As above, so below. Yep, I like that. In space or zero gravity, there is no up. Where's the comment gone? Down, left or right. Therefore, liquids form in a sphere. And if the Earth was molten rock in the beginning, that means it formed in a sphere. Oh, that's quite a good, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. That works. Lorem Ipsum says there's still a deposit, but usually the deposit is cheaper than, and that's the thing. Like, there's so many cars where the deposit is like more than this car. Which I don't understand, but not everybody is around in old cars. Geoff would never recommend buying a new car as a first car. Absolutely right. Well, like, I'd never recommend buying a new car ever because you drive it off the forecourt and you lose 20% of the value. You not go buy one that's already depreciated. Oh, because I want one where the odometer says 0. Well, sort this out. Geoff, we, the YouTubers and Twitters and Facebookers nowadays, we are the mainstream media. You are right, actually. You are right. I was shocked to see, what was I saying? My Facebook feed is so full of crap. My Facebook feed was telling me that the latest season of The Only Way is Essex, right, the new one, was watched by 44,000 people. I was like, 44,000 people? 44,000 people is like a medium performing Geoff video. Like 44,000 views. I put a video out that does 44,000 views. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. That'll do. You know, just funny. It was a question now. What was that? What's your thoughts on Mazda 3? I like most Mazdas. I just never really talk too much about Jap stuff on the channel because I never really buy it. I always buy Swedish stuff, don't I? Diesel Honda CRV 2014. Yeah, CRVs. I mean, you know, the old ones. Do you only buy cars with Thomas MOT, or do you put them through MOT? I don't really have any parameters. Usually, I just buy a car that I like the look of. I often don't check. I'm terrible like that. Sometimes I'll buy a car and then someone on Facebook will message me and be like, oh, I don't like the MOT history. And I'll go, oh, I didn't think to chat. I just like the car. The price was right. So yeah, I just depends what it is. I don't know when the MOT is on this one. I might have to have a look. I think it's got one. It should have. So yeah, that's good. The Greek text is older than the Hebrew text, says Misha. But how is that possible? Because the Bible started in the land where they spoke Hebrew. So how can the Greek text be older? Because the Greek text was written hundreds of years after the stuff in the Bible happened. So it's not like Jesus died and then they went, oh, we'll write a book. It was like 400 years afterwards or something like that. So how accurate can it be? Can you write something down that happened 400 years by tracking back? Don't work, does it? There's so many questions about it. Best approach to cars is making the comment disappear. Make you 600 miles per litre of fuel. I'd love that. And I reckon they can do that now. But there's no, there is no industry desire for that to happen. Like the guy that invented an engine that ran on water. What happened to him? Well, we all know what happened to him, don't we? Hebrew is a new language. It's pretty interesting how reconstituted. It was translated from Hebrew to Greek, says someone. Bible is a remake copy of Sumerian scriptures. Yes, I know, we've all watched Zeitgeist, but there's something to it, and it's probably aliens. Shift towards religion, particularly Christianity. I wonder why. Again, this is another one that's come from Mrs. Geoff, because she said to me not too long ago, do you know what? I want to go to church. She hasn't been to church since she was a kid. But the world is pushing her in a direction where she feels like she needs some spirituality. Geoff, come and help pick these leaves up. No, I've got enough leaves of my own that I need to pick up. The guy who collected together the first Bible said the Old Testament God is not the same God as the New Testament. Well, that's basically correct, because they are completely different ways of doing things. Romanian inventor Justin Capra invented an engine that ran on water, and he was ostracized into oblivion. And Bart there says Jesus was a... I don't know about that one. Can neither confirm nor deny. Cool. So, glad we covered all that. Have we covered everything? I mean, we're coming up to the hour mark, and I said I'd do an hour, so that's pretty good, isn't it? You get value for money with Geoff Buys Cars. If I say I do an hour, within an hour. LPG or hydrogen? LPG, because even though it's getting harder and harder to get LPG, you can't get hydrogen anywhere, so what's the point? Nick says, church in Ruthin open 24 hours under CCTV. No vicar or anyone in it. Doesn't sound like a good idea, but maybe that's a good thing. Enoch was Moses' father. Moses. Can't remember my story on that one. Bible's been written more times than Geoff Buys Cars. Yes. And Arnold says, never had any problems with a Ford. Jesus, of course, drove a Honda because he said in the New Testament, quite famously, that I do not speak of my own accord. So he rolls around in a Honda, but he doesn't boast about it. Going to get some clothes on now. Why aren't you wearing clothes, Johnny? You're a good man, Geoff, says Margaret. Thank you. I'll try. I do try. The body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, according to the scripture. Well, yeah, that whole your body is a temple thing. Like, you get in what you get out. And if you body on crap, then you'll feel like crap. Race car is race car backwards. Thank you for that, for bringing us back round to cars. John the Baptist was married and he had kids with Mary first. Yeah, but how do you know that? You don't know, do you? You don't know. Temple of Doom. It's all a bit Temple of Doom in it. Where's the Ark of the Covenant? Nobody knows. This is just making me want to go to my Bible, because last time I did that, two things happened. One, someone on a plane apologised to me for drinking in front of me, which I thought was hilarious. And two, I was sat there going, what? This is even crazier than I remember from being a kid. So that was pretty fun. Right, when are you doing the next trip with the Macmaster? Thank you, Trevor, for a sensible question that brings it back to cars and YouTube, which is what we're all here for. He's in the Lake District at the moment, and he's busy, so I want to say next week. Should we say next week? And I'm not sure yet what we are going for. Not sure what kind of trip it's going to be. Something. And then the NEC this weekend, I am displaying a car. Read the Quran. It's horrendous. Yeah, I know. I know, it's absolutely hideous. And if people understood what the Quran actually said, they'd be even more annoyed about all the hotels. What about EV Carnage? He's just lost his driving license, so he'll have to come along as a passenger or on a bike. And lastly, the NEC. I will be displaying at the NEC. What happened to your 405 diesel estate? It was won in a raffle by a man called Daniel, and he bloody loves it. The Ark is in Ethiopia, they reckon. Probably, yeah. Right, NEC this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the NEC in Birmingham. World's most expensive car show. It will cost you £100 for 2 people once you've bought your and a parking ticket. So it is an expensive one, but I've got a car on the Chester Cars and Coffee display, and the organisers of the NEC are doing their very best to not have me there. But unfortunately, there's nothing that they can really do to stop me there, because if I got banned from the NEC Classic Car Show, from YouTube and social media point of view, would basically be the best thing that ever happened. Because can you imagine the views that I would get on a video if I did a video saying I got banned from the NEC Classic Car Show? It would be fantastic. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I don't know which car I'm displaying at the show yet, because the one that I was going to display is in Norfolk, and there's no fucking way I'm going up there tomorrow because I can't be bothered. I'm not going to display my 7 Series. It's going to be one of my Saabs, I reckon. Cool. 57 minutes. We got 2.5 minutes left to go. Anyone got anything else to say? Anything that you want to park at Marston Green Station? Do one stop by train? Much king. I like it, Jez. That is good. Tony has volunteered for you to drive. I like that. Will you now be Tony's personal driver? I would do, but he lives in Cornwall, so it's kind of a long way for me to go if he wants to go to the pub, innit? You seem pissed off today. No, I'm not pissed off. I'm a bit annoyed that the guy moved me 20 over there, considering, like, if I was doing donuts in the car park, and if I was banging music, and if I was scoping around the businesses and taking pictures and trying to steal things, then I don't. But other than that, like, what's the point? When are you coming to visit me in France? When you invite me, geoffbuyscars@gmail.com. Crazy for cars. A Saab is always worth to be displayed at the show. I think so too. I might put a poll up on my YouTube page, see which one you want to see there. But to be honest, I don't need the NEC show. I go because I enjoy it. If I needed the NEC show, I'd book a stand, I'd buy all the merchandise, I'd do sticker packs, I'd be selling mugs and t-shirts. I can't really be bothered, because then I got to stand on the stand and sell stuff all day long. What I like to do is turn up, stick a car on, and then walk around and then go home. That's what I like to do. So I'm not going to be there on Saturday because I don't want to be there all week. There Friday, and I'll be there Sunday. And if you're there, great, find me, say hello, but I won't be hanging around my car very long. I'll be walking around, and yeah, if I get bored, I'll go home. Can I get a sticker, Geoff? Yep, sticker packs are on the way. Scally, Geoff, been moved on for looking dodgy. I do look dodgy. A cup of tea, Geoff. You know what? It is absolutely time for a cup of tea. I can't believe people still worship the father of the vaccine. Who's the father of the vaccine? Who are you talking about? Don't Donald Trump. The wife just came up unannounced with lunch. Happy days. Now I can watch instead of thinking for the rest. P.S. Ireland is absolutely effed in every way you can imagine. Yes, the YouTube channel, the Instagram channel, Off Grid, and I think it's Off Grid Island 3 now, because I think they've had the first 2 accounts shut down. And check it out, because, I mean, don't check it out, because you really don't want to know what's going on in Ireland, because it's grim. Can I suggest you watch Verdi Borcham, Why I Chose to Believe That? Ooh, can you send me an email to that? geoffbuyscars@gmail.com. Thank you, Sean Son of Mick. Sean Son of Mick, you've been a Geoff follower for a long time. And I love that. I love you all. Geoff, I heard that there is a world shortage of helicopter flavoured crisps. So I'm going to have plain crisps. Way! Cool. Right. That is the 60-minute point. I have gone through all of the points that I wanted to today. Thank you very much, everybody. Do make sure you click the like and the subscribe button, and maybe see the NEC on Friday. If I don't, I'll probably do live broadcast from the NEC if I've got some signal. So if there's that's what I like to do at the NEC. I don't make a big deal. I'm going to film all the cars for you, because you can see that on Joseph Lloyd's excellent channel. Do me a favour, 621 people who are watching, open a new window and type in Lloyd Vehicle Consulting and go and subscribe to Joseph, because he'll give you all the car content that you need at the Resto show. I'm trying to get him in my car to do an interview, because we do every year, but he said he'll probably be too busy walking around filming all the cars. And I was like, come on, dude, you've got 140,000 subscribers. Do a video with me. I can probably get you some more. But no, to Geoff, filming the cars is more important than sitting in a car with me. And I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate he's a man that just wants to film cars. So that's where you'll get all your car content. I'm going to have some interviews on Friday at the show. Richard from Challenge is coming down, so I'll do something with him. Richard from Wizard Sports and Classics is coming down, so I'll do something with him. And there'll probably be some other people that I'll interview that hopefully aren't called Richard, unless I can find interesting people called Richard, in which case there will be. Right, I'm off for a cup of tea. Thank you very much for watching. How do I close this down now? On there. Come on, Geoff, you can still do this.